Hello. So today, first thing on my plate is to do the weekly roundup of what's going on across the various make.wordpress.org teams. So WordPress is made possible by now over 20 different teams, and it's hard to keep up with everything that's going on. So I'm going to let you in on the behind the scenes of how I make the weekly post for post status about what's happening across the project this week and just the info for this week. So I'll talk you through what my process is and how I go about finding that information. To get started, let me hit share on my screen. And I want to share screen. Let's go. This might wormhole a little bit. Actually, you know what? Maybe I will switch over and do my work today on this screen. Cool. There we go. All right. So first up is that I need to get my post out. And I happen to have a little bit of a trick for how I find all the information. Because I've been doing this now for half a year, it's just 1 week of doing it. So to pull this together, what I've done is I actually created a little GitHub repo. I'm working on helping to get this official over on make.wordpress as an official thing. But when I look at this, it's got the listing of all the teams and what's going on. So each week I clone what we published the week before, and I will go in to edit last week's post. Cool. So as I look through this, I see a couple spots of block recovery and things. That's fine. The first thing at the top is the news section. So sometimes I work in different orders. I kind of hop through this document. This is just a self-updating RSS board of all the projects, all the teams, all the news. And sometimes I dig in and I look for the GitHub issues, and I'll sort of walk through some of that. So in core, let's see, the last thing that we published from core, I'll just go through these in order, was dev chat from June 8. So there's dev chat summary from June 8. This is what's new in Gutenberg. So that's the info that we need this week. And I'll hit save. This is just saving a draft. Now I'm actually going to open through some of these. This is the agenda of what's coming up in dev chat. So there's a retro going on. Let's make sure that I've got the retro. That seems still relevant for core for this week. I'll put that at the top. Right? Retro, that goes back a little bit. What else is happening? Performance team. Formal team proposal. All right. So in this one, they're saying that they're going to start organizing to be one of the official teams. So that's for the team meeting that, let's see, what's the date? Today's date is the 15th, right? Okay. So if that's on the 15th, today's the 15th, that happened yesterday. So safe to say in here, I'm going to say quick note, including proposal to become a fully fledged team, right? Instead of just one of the core sub teams. Cool. Anything else that's in this post that would be worth getting other people to go in on? Marcus, continue to create Webp 22. Let's see, this is a GitHub issue. Create Webp images on upload. That's from November. So that one's got some activity, but not as current. And it's ready for add low quality image placeholders. So I might make this a bullet within. There. That'd be a good way to do this. Background color. I forgot the R. Whoops. So let's go type that R in there. You know, maybe I'll do the same thing for this one as well. So what these are both doing is the team's wanting to work on improving site speed, performance load times, and they are trying to get to a consensus on if we can use Webp for everything. So yeah, the screen doesn't show. It's okay now. Okay, thanks. Good feedback. Ovada, thank you for the feedback. So create Webp images on upload. So this is the info of, this is just my run through of how I go about finding this information. And if you want the link to my GitHub repo, like I said, my little RSS self-updating thing is going to hopefully make its way on up to core soon. So for those that are sort of watching along or in the comment section here, I'm still new to using all this, just as a heads up. So I'm appending in the comments to where my GitHub repo is that has this self-selecting RSS update. So create Webp images on upload. I made that as a sub point, and it looks like the more recent info, if I, sorry, pressing all the buttons. If I go to the bottom, the last couple of updates have come in. There was some work around this. It sounds like that was conversation happening during EU, so they've included it in their meeting notes. I'm just doing a skim through on the meeting notes and sort of lifting out what would be the things to call the community to particularly take notice of. They may or may not read all of these meeting notes because this is one of 6 for one of the 20 teams. So it's hard to sometimes for people to feel like they're keeping up with what's going on in the project. So this is me just sort of sifting through what should be included into Post Status's version of a weekly roundup for that. All right, so not everything. API to facilitate more accurate sizes. Working on core patch for adding, yeah. Making the plugin. Okay, so in this case, you know what? I'm going to start taking a little liberties, and I will literally copy paste that sentence in there. Sort of changes the format a little, but I get it. All right, so that covers performance, object cache. Got some commits. Needs discussion, 3 issues. Let's see. Draft, yeah. Handling mega objects. Okay. Module proposal, do. Improve multi-site object, improve handling of mega objects. Those have been out for a while, so I'm pretty sure that I've covered them in weeks past. There's some discussion happening on this. Okay. This one was submitted a bit ago, right? Version 2.1 was when it was submitted. Wow. So this is still an enhancement, and there's still some discussions going on around that. Hasn't been modified in a while. All right. So in that case, I think I'm going to let that one be. Certainly, you all can dive in if you're really interested in this one. Please do dive in on these. All right. So that closes out that one particular. That was performance. Proposal, disallow assignments and conditions, Yoda. Yeah. So there is some, this one might be one that I bump from Yoda condition. Let's put this up because this is a big shift in some code changes. So raise that. I'm going to actually bump that at personal discretion up to the news section, even though it's not on the news site, but this shifts a lot of what we're doing in the code. So there's some proposals of if we should just drop or if we should, so disallow or remove Yoda condition as a requirement. Yoda condition is what this code would look like in this section. So I think that's worthy of devs seeing. With the same left to right like this. With Yoda conditions, the above condition would be if this, then go through. So there's some code deviations there. I think that's worth devs seeing as a primary thing. Week in core. What happened for last week? Yeah, bundled themes, code modernization. Yeah, that one looks like we can leave that as a point by itself. Performance chat, that was the agenda, and I watched the summary, so we're good with that. I think, in fact, because we went through the summary, I'm going to take out the agenda because that's kind of old news at this point, right? Dev chat summary should go in, and the what's new in Gutenberg, I think I'm going to bump that up to, let's put it near the top. I know these are slightly chronologically out of order. Sometimes I leave that reminder in that Gutenberg 13.4 would ship in version 6.1 or WP 6.1. We don't really have a date on that. So it's just more of a reminder. This one looks interesting. The design team thinking through the WordPress admin experience. Let's go to design. Yeah. Put this in instead. Let's get a quick summary. So from Matthias. I'm looking to see if there are any links. I'll read it more thoroughly later. So this one, let's see what this is. Surface navigation structure as a dedicated UI. Okay. So this I'll put as a subpoint to that design, right? Because then this would be worthy of getting people to weigh in on. Seen some good conversation or chatter over an advanced WordPress Facebook group this week. A lot of good Twitter conversations happening around the priorities for the project. So this is hey, here's where to go to weigh in on the things, and here's the thoughts about what's happening. And yeah, so this is a longer explanation. Definitely encourage folks to come and give some feedback on that one. Mobile team has 2 new ones, Android and iOS. So if you would like, oh, Bud, video is frozen. Bud, did it clear up a little bit? If you're there, Bud, feel free to let me know if the video rebooted itself at all. So this is me just going through the weekly roundups of how I make the things. Mobile team. Mobile. I keep these kind of in order. Mobile. So the mobile team, we have WordPress iOS app and Android apps, and they are actively always looking for people to come by and be willing to test. And if you go through these calls for testing, they'll tell you exactly what things to go test. Like, hey, do this, then go log some feedback on the things. And so I might make some time to go through one of those. Accessibility, not much posted there new. So do I have anything on the accessibility? Yeah, we could leave that one. Polyglots has an agenda, and the rest of the things are the way that Polyglots handles asking for translation approvals. Polyglots are our folks that work on translating WordPress into multiple languages. Love that work. So yes, it's an agenda. That meeting might happen before I even hit publish, but it's worth keeping them on the radar. Support, not much new happening over in the support area. Let's check and see on support. Yeah, that's current enough. Docs, onboarding. Yep, let's put that in for docs. And they have a summary of their last meeting. Docs, yeah. So we'll put in the calls for the onboarding sessions Milana's been running, which is fantastic. They're hosting those on the social learning spaces for Learn WordPress as well. So helping to get everybody onboarded. Articles that the docs team wrote. These are the ones from the support site. So if I go to support articles, let's see, docs. Those ones I believe have been published before. We might have a little lull with EU about publishing things. So this is .org/support/articles, and these are developer.wordpress.org, what's been recently published. So those things are available, but at this time, I think I've already published that info. Themes team has meeting notes and agenda. There's the notes. So the meeting happened. So we'll just go with the recap from the themes team. Here. Let's do this. Save. Plugins team. Rejoice to sanitize. Fun. Okay, let me see what I last had on the plugins team, because it looks like there could be a couple things that go into that one. Sure. Plugins are, here we go. So the last thing I had was the June 6th update, and it looks like they might have a couple things in there. Wow, they have a couple things in there. That's cool. Think that one was covered a bit back. April 15th. Yeah, read that one. This one, I think I missed with all of the rush of EU. So it's a little behind, but I didn't give it attention before. So I'm just going to save that one and look and see if there's anything in there that is worth letting people know. Hello, everybody that's watching in. Bud says the video is frozen. If anyone else is experiencing that still and tuned in, please let me know. Would love that. Cool. So various folks are responding there. It's got some traction. Community. Let's see, on community. Recap from the 26th. Do we have anything more recent? That would have been this one. So we have all this. So we'll paste that in. And yes, I'm mostly just giving the bulleted list of the things. But what I'm also going to do is slow down and skim it, like jump into the article. So see if there's anything that is inside of these articles that also should be given maybe a standalone bullet point. Yeah. Okay, that one looks pretty good. Inclusion and diversity. Diverse speaker support channel. Workshopping talks with other mentors. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that one looks pretty good. Announcement, team rep change. Yay, Megan Rose. Congrats. So Hari is heading out on sabbatical and handed the reins over to Megan, which is fantastic. Megan works over at Codable. I'm excited to see Megan more involved in part of the project. Diverse speaker training recap. Yep, that's fine. Okay. Meta. Meta team. They are our DevOps that keep all the make.wordpress.org stuff running. So they have theme review improvements and yeah, that looks pretty good. This one, by the way, under the Meta team, their post for this is actually what you're looking at right now with my GitHub repo. So I'm going to work on helping get this GitHub repo. I need to come up with a catchy name. So if anyone that's watching has ideas for this, instead of just having this stuff sitting on my own GitHub repo with all these RSS things coming at me, what we're hoping to do is to make it available over, say, on this part of WordPress with make.wordpress.org/overview. And it will look similar to my GitHub version. It will just be on Make itself. So I need to think about how that appears in the navigation here, because we've got a few things like team updates, project updates, 5 for the future, blah, blah, blah. We want this like maybe progress, I think was the term that someone had shared with me. So progress could go in here as one of our items and see if that works. So that's an option. Okay. Progress. I like it. Training team. We've had some agendas and recaps and some things like that. So I will go to, I am one of the team reps on the training team. So here we go. We will put down, swap those out, put this in, save that. Training teams, lesson plans. Let's see, have we published anything since intro to? No, that one was one that we already hit publish on. Workshops. Creating a custom post type without code. So we published this one since then. Yeah. And that can go here under this workshops section. So this is a lot to sort of track what's happening across all the teams. And you're all just getting a nice behind the scenes look at how I review that, how I look at what's going on in the project. There we go. Creating a front page block for teams. That works. Courses, no change on courses. Social learning spaces. The last ones were these. Open source principles was the last one that was on the list. So this one, we'll put in those. That's good. Test site. Do we have anything? Call for testing. Interim team rep for test. That seems like something to include. Test is not currently on here because for a little bit they didn't have anything that was they didn't have anything that was necessarily a new kind of update. So let me get this to link, because when the RSS goes out, yes, make.wordpress.org/test. Thanks, bud. Awesome. All right. So the headings all link to the official teams, and these link to the individual ones. So test team, they need a team rep to fill in. And they also have some field notes from Contributor Day. That should go on there too. So they're looking for a team rep to step in on the test team, and it sounds like Brian's going to do it, which is cool. I'm going to bump in the bulleted list. There we go. Field notes is also going in. This one. Yeah. What did they do during Contributor Day? I'm curious. So this is me just doing, again, a nice fast look through of all of this. So test contributors, end-to-end testing. Cool. So they just summarized what that team did during WordCamp EU's test day, during the testing table, sorry for that. TV team, I'm not seeing anything new on their stuff. We can see some really good WordPress.tv videos here, but I don't really include all of those individually on the weekly roundups. Marketing team has these. So by the time that this goes out, marketing may already have done some of these, but we'll put this in at least. Hold on, let's delete those. These. There we go. Save that. CLI doesn't have much going on, but what I am going to do for CLI is good first issues. Nope. Support. I'm looking for their repo because I spoke with Elaine at EU, and I know that for them, some of their work happens in their GitHub repo. So let's go to GitHub. /WordPress and see if CLI is in there, command line interface. So they're the ones that give us the command line interface tools. So I'm looking through the name of the repo. Maybe I'll just see CLI. Nope. WP CLI. This team also has, hold on, WP CLI. A site. Here we go. How to use WP CLI. Nifty site. WP CLI. WordPress. I'm looking around just to see. Oh, there's their GitHub. Cool. So in here, what I might do is want to look through the issues. So they've got their own repo area that's not inside the WordPress project one, but it's okay. So as I'm looking through this, I'm trying to see if there's anything that's like 13 days ago, pinned WordPress version, 21 days ago. So I'm just looking through issues that are open and what's happening here. Yeah, I don't know if that one necessarily needs attention right now. Yeah, so for next week, I will make sure to find out how to get the info from Elaine more specifically on which things to call in and invite people to. Hosting, contributor day summary from the hosting team. Let's go to the hosting section. Oh yeah, I have it in there. So we'll just let that one be. I like trying to keep the teams in the lists if I can, to remind people of how many teams that we have. Tide. The Tide team deals with getting things approved. We'll just say that. Automating some of that measurement of things. Openverse. Here is community recap from the 14th for Openverse. MN Openverse. See what the Openverse folks are up to. You can tell that I've read through these a bit. I like that they use buttons to tell us when the things are, what needs review, what's been done. Cool. Yep. Photos. Not any posts from the photos team. Hopefully, the photos team reps will be able to do that soon. Updates. Okay, so updates is an interesting site. Let's just say that. The updates site, hold on, let's go to, sorry, didn't want to go there. Let's go actually open this post. So the update site is under team updates. So if you go to this get involved, I believe the intended audience of this originally was for those that wanted this quick overview of the activity of the teams without reading it. So when you see this team updates area, that takes you to this team update site. If you're on get involved, then now into team updates. So this has all the different team updates that are happening, lots of statistics, the activity of the team that week, etc. So what I usually do for updates is that updates is kind of a collection of the other things. So I often will go to, so this is the themes update. So then I will usually go over here and drop it in themes team update for that date. And the same would be said for plugin review team, plugin. There we go. Test team. There. So a lot of people don't know about the updates site unless you're actively showing up on the teams, but they might like the stats of things. So I just go through and like, this is about the docs team. So I'll lift the stats, even though it takes you to the update site, I'll stick it in the appropriate team. Yeah. Project. Project. I don't know that I've listed project. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, I'm going to keep all of those in because we're still working towards the pledges and the handbook and all that kind of stuff. So those all are still very valid as we're working towards a unified code of conduct and recording 5 for the future contributions and some other things. Systems. Let's see here. Systems. Systems is kind of more just a help site. It's not really one of the team sites. But then news. We do have some things. Important questions from WordCamp EU. Let's put that here. And then this was last week, but I'm not sure if Dee's thing made it in. I forget. So I'll put that. I'll leave it there. It's fine. News. Yep. Job site. I help maintain that one. It's jobs.wordpress.net. We don't really report on anything there. Central, that's happened, so no need. WordCamps in the pipeline. And then the foundation, the WordPress Foundation site also has some news on it too. So that's the Kim Parcell Fund and things. So that's all been covered, which is great. Now I need to look over this and see if there's anything that like, oh yeah, stray bullet point. Got to clear that out. Polyglots. Was there anything more on polyglots? Polyglots. Yeah, so agenda. That was the thing I was going to put in. Might have forgotten that one. Oh, I see what it did. It didn't really like change the text. It just changed the link. That's me proofreading the things. Also, I like to try and balance these columns. This is just me doing a little bit of cleanup work, right? Cancel. Nope. Oh, Gutenberg, some days. There we go. Get those nav bars and things out of my, get the toolbars out of my way. Block recovery. There we go. All right. So now my columns feel a little bit more balanced. Test, themes, support. That all looks good. And then under 5 for the future. So we have a repo for 5 for the future that I look at. And under this one, I'm going to look over kind of more from the activity in the issues. So there's some effort or work being done for 5 for the future to track, and it looks like no new issues are submitted. Not much activity on the previous, so I think that one's going to be good. The movement is towards better tracking who's doing what within the project. They're doing it within the 5 for the Future repo for organizations that contribute through 5 for the Future. I think that's great. I think also as a team rep, it's going to help me identify the contributors on my team that may or may not be part of 5 for the Future, but I can better track or quantify the various bits of effort and support that they offer. Now, this still needs to go through a human because not every single little tiny thing is weighted equally, right? And so someone might have done hours and hours of work and gotten one item that shows for that hours and hours of work, whereas someone else might have done 5 minutes and gotten the same number. So there's some human intervention still, but the more that we can get the data so that the humans can look at the data and not have to do such manual labor, the better it goes. So this all looks good to me, and it's time to hit publish. So I will publish all that and then view the post. Double check from front of site. I've done this a time or two, so I'm pretty familiar with what's going on. So there we go. Yep. So post is published. Up next is to start telling the world all about it. So app.sprinkler. I use Sprinkler for my social media management. Let's pull this off screen for just a moment while I get logged in. It's just a tool that lets me. So at this point, you're down to, it's off to me just to promote and tell people what in the world is going on with it. And all righty, here we go. So let's go to my create a new post. Let's close that one more time, create a post again. Here we go. Now all my saved channels are there. Add in my content. What's new this week in the 20 teams that make WordPress? Okay, and then let's give it some emojis. Oh, yeah, the typos. And now I'm slightly frozen. Let's give it a moment. There we go. Magnifying glass. That's what I'm after. And let me think back over the post briefly about anything worth highlighting officially. Like, what's the biggest things in here? Yoda could be fun to get people involved with. What else was in here? Yoda, performance team proposal, official proposal for performance team. I think those were the big ones I would lead with to get people, and maybe that design. Thinking through the WordPress admin experience. Okay, so I would say my next items, I'm going to treat these like bullet points. Yoda, what could I put in? I don't have an emoji for Yoda. So closest I could get is frog, right? And if you've watched Grogu, maybe you'll get the reference there. Yoda. Yoda. Performance team proposal. Big favorite proposal for an emoji. And then the next one I'm going to put in paintbrush, palette. No, maybe paint. That's not the emoji that I want. Let's go with, I have a little browser thing that gives me like emoji choices, but nope, not Spotlight. Here we go. Activity. Is that where paint is? This is the one I'm thinking of. Yep. And then performance team. Let's go with the bullseye for performance team. They want to get things working smoothly and on track. So performance team. And so this one was thinking through the admin experience. Thinking through admin experience. That should get people looking, right? Copy that so that I have it. With my little tool, I have some options here, but I want to turn off this URL shortener because it just forever says no to me, and I will hit post. Cool. Next up, I'm going to go off to my LinkedIn and jump into test on the page twice. I don't think so, bud. Give me just a minute and I'll gonna publish over in the LinkedIn WordPress product group, WordPress product community. So there's the mobile test, and then there's also a let me do a check on this one, bud. Here's test, here's themes. There, mobile has some testing, so you might have seen me publish something into mobile. The mobile team cross posts their things under testing. So yeah, there's lots of testing to be done, but just one heading there. But thank you for helping me check on that one. All right, so in the WordPress product community, browser wants to freeze. Okay, cool. Trying not to overshare too much info for all of you on my screen while I'm just hitting publish. But if you think there are other good places that we should announce these type of things, feel free. This is an unofficial, like, yeah, I'm a team rep and I do some stuff with all of this, but I am just, this is kind of a personal pet project because I like to know what's happening in our project, right? So this is not any official WordPress.org thing. It's hosted on Post Status' site. So there we go. We have the what's new this week there. And then let me see if I can go to Slack. There's a couple spots. So I think this one's fine to share. There's not too much that's going to be surprising there. I publish it also over in Slack as well. And here we go. Make it bold. Right. And yeah, send now. I'm in a lot of different Slack groups. There's a couple of them that I can't share on my screen. I will pull in, I'm going to move my browser. Sorry to be showing you all this back and forth. One of the other areas that I think I want to include this in is the Facebook Advanced WordPress group. And I just don't feel like it's safe for me to pull up. I have nothing to hide, but I don't think it's appropriate for me to pull up all of Facebook. LinkedIn's a little more professional. Facebook, it's like I follow stuff that, yeah, just... I follow a lot of things. I don't necessarily agree with everything I follow, but I'm there more for the knowing about the information, right? Okay, so here is the advanced Facebook group. And I've got the new Facebook layout as well. Let's create a post. And here we go. Yeah. And hit post, and hopefully we'll get some people reading what the post is, call them into the areas of the project that they are most concerned with. But it's been great. Thanks, folks, for joining me today. Post is published. There's a couple more spots where I'm going to, let me do a stop screen share. There we go. There's a few more places that I'm going to go and continue to elevate what just went on. So I put it off of all my personal socials. I help administrate a LinkedIn group. I'm going to go over to the Twitter WordPress community and post it there, post it in a couple Facebook groups. But this is what I do on a weekly cadence. I'm glad for those of you that were able to follow along with me and join in on helping me make this. Let me know if there are ideas that you have about how to call the WordPress community in to see the work of these 20 teams and to get involved with the work of these 20 teams. Folks often feel like they don't know how or where the decisions are getting made. And it's because that's a lot of information to try and keep up with. You saw today that it took me about an hour or so, maybe a little extra while I was talking with you, but that's about the normal length of time to get that post together and hit publish on it. So I'd really like to continue letting people know this is where that information is located and how you could get involved, and keeping the amount of work it takes to make those things pretty small, because the more words we have, the less people are probably going to read. I just like to be able to give quick bullet points too. Here's what just went out. You might be able to see this soon also in your WordPress admin dashboard. If you log into any WordPress site at this time and you look at the upcoming events and news widgets area right in your admin dashboard, it should be showing there. Thanks again for joining me, and maybe I'll make a habit out of streaming these in the future. Thanks.